Welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of Tack Talks Football, World Cup edition. We're about 2 weeks out from the World Cup, so a lot of discussion, a lot to talk about on this episode. Dad, over to you.
Over to me? What do I have to do with this thing? All I do is listen to you two gripe at each other. So,
Well, you leave it to the professionals.
That's absolutely right.
yeah, all right, you professionals. Yeah, I taught you everything you know. I didn't teach you everything I know. So, today we're going to talk World Cup roster, those that made it, those that didn't. Talk a little bit about maybe the projected lineup that we would see in the formation. Maybe talk about a couple of the other teams that have had some friendlies. And then maybe a little bit about Pochettino and his potential departure from U.S. for a job with Milan. And what we think about that. So, Jeremy, I'll turn it over to you. Start us off. What do you think about the roster?
Well, it looks like the leak was true after all. Not a lot of surprises from the whole shebang of announcement that they had on, what was it, Fox? But I mean,
Almost
I
every news outlet. Oh, you're talking about the actual release?
the actual release. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed. They were probably hoping for some surprise
Yeah.
rosters. But
Well, no doubt about it. And I think I mentioned to you guys earlier, if I was Pochettino in U.S. Soccer, I'd identify who leaked it. I'd sue them for cause and damages and fire them or remove them from the team. It's exactly what I would do.
maybe if it wasn't true,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth the time. I mean, if it was true, it's true. Now I get it. I mean, maybe Fox might be the one to do something like that just because they kind of ruined the celebration. But
Right, exactly. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be pretty cool for everybody, and I just think it was bad. I think it was bad form. Bad form.
Yep.
So back to you, Jeremy. Keep going.
yeah, so it's tough to say. I was hoping for surprises myself. I think that we had a couple players that kind of missed the cut that I would have liked to seen, especially some younger guys. I worry about Richards a little bit not playing in that final that they just had on Thursday. I can't imagine that he'll be playing the friendlies, and I think that may be why they brought in 8 to 10 defenders because they're probably trying to cover him a little bit.
Yeah, and did you see Pochettino said he may? It'll be kind of a up to the last minute decision of whether he stays with the roster or not.
Oh, I
Oh,
did not see that.
He did
Wow.
say that? Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't see that.
Yeah. I worry a little bit about Adams. He's obviously injury prone a little bit. I don't think we have a like for like replacement for him on the roster. I think Tessman was a miss. I it, it, Pulisic is not in great form. I certainly hope Zendejas gets some starts or at least good minutes. I mean, he's been a stud for Club America. Balogun, I mean, he's got an opportunity to really showcase his talents. I mean, he went on a scoring route, there for a while. I mean, here's your opportunity, dude. Go for it. And I think that we have a pretty good backup for him through Pepe. I mean, he had an amazing goal average for the minutes that he played. So attacking wise, I don't worry that much, but I think Richards is such a big 50-50 for us because I think if we're having to use Ream for a lot of minutes, we're going to struggle.
What do you think though about Trusty and Miles Robinson?
I think Trusty starts. I mean, you're talking about a guy that played a good amount of minutes for a solid club. I mean, I would love to see Richards paired up with Trusty. I think Mark McKenzie could certainly be there. Miles Robinson, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen his form lately, but he has the experience with the World Cup, so he'll be a good backup. But if we use Ream, I mean, no offense to the guy, but
he's old.
Father Time's getting to
slow.
him. I mean, and his form has not been great in MLS either. So if he's there to be the leader, fantastic. But you got to limit the guy's minutes. We got better players there.
Yeah, definitely. Over to you, Jay.
Yeah, I think, and this is just me in Poach's shoes for the 5 minutes here. I think what he has done, in my opinion, is looked at the roster and the players that have played in all the friendlies and have been in the camp before and have looked at what is their injury type, what is their injury commonality. Is it a consistently the same injury? What happens when they're asked to play 3 group stage games at full capacity for 90 minutes? Are they capable of doing that? And I think what he has looked at it as is, look, we've got a lot of players that, yes, should be in this camp, but unfortunately, there's a lot of players that have been injured over the past 2 months.
Yeah.
And if we're going to risk taking these players that have been injured for the past 2 months, half of our roster could be injured by the second game of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if that's the case, then we're in real trouble.
Yeah.
Now, I know you could switch out those 26 for a severe injury or something like that, but I think what you're looking at is a coach that's saying, well, what do I do when I know that I'm going to be leaving out some players that probably could be there, but they are another injury prospect to the World Cup roster. So what happens if they get hurt the first game? What if they re-injure? So Tyler Adams, what if he gets hurt? What if Luna gets hurt? What if Pulisic gets hurt the first game? What if Chris Richards thinks he's okay and he gets hurt the first game? So now what do we do? So now half of our roster is injured the first game of the World Cup. And I just think he looked at who has been in the best form and who has not been injured the past 2 or 3 months with severe injuries, hamstrings, groins, ankles, stuff like that. And maybe it's not the best players in some people's eyes, but I think it's the ones that have been in pretty good form, and I think it's the ones that haven't been injured throughout the season. And I do want to knock on wood for that because I don't want to jinx them, certainly. But I think at a point in time, you have to say, look, I've got to roll with the roster that's not injured.
Yeah.
I'll take a couple injuries. That's fine because they look like they'll be recovered. But I can't have 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys that are potential starters that have been injured over the course of the past month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
It's just not physically possible.
All right, well,
That's a great point.
Yeah, well, you both have brought up great points. So let's break this down from front to back and talk. This is just something that I thought of just now. So let's talk Balogun, Pepe, Haji Wright. You've got 3 strong, fast, very capable forwards.
Yes, but they are the thing that the commonality with those 3 is what? They're all 9s.
Yeah, they're all 9s. That's fine. However, Haji can play wide.
Yeah,
Pepe can play wide, and so this is why I went to this discussion point. If you look at the types of formations that the U.S. could potentially play, a 3-4-3, a 4-4-2, a 3-2,
4-3-3.
what is it?
4-3-2-1.
4-3-2-1, right. I think Pochettino was looking at how he may be able to adapt the game with the players that he's picked. For example, if you wanted to go for the 3-4-3, you could put all 3 of those guys right up top. Drop Pulisic behind him.
You're wasting half your roster at that point. Then I mean, what's the point of Weah?
But not necessarily. You've got Weah though, who can also play up top, and maybe we only give him 60 minutes. The first 60 minutes, and sub in a different rotation. I think we're underestimating Pochettino's eye for what he believes he has and how he can adapt this team to really throw some curveballs at the teams that expect us to do what we normally do.
Well, I sure hope so, because in the friendlies, it certainly didn't pan out.
Yeah, but he did so many different things in the friendlies.
my point.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a lot of options here. If we're going to throw out things that we're not used to, I'm not real sure that it's going to work because it certainly didn't against them, Germany and Belgium.
So I think he is certainly, and the
Portugal
reason
and
I bring
Belgium.
up, Dad, the reason I bring up that those three are the nines is because they are gonna play in positions to where they usually play. They're not gonna play out of sorts because that's when you don't get the best performance out of them. So if Haji Wright or Pepe was to play out wide, those aren't their normal positions, and so you're asking someone that doesn't normally play there to basically saying you're better than what Weah or Tillman are out wide, which I don't know is a fair statement. First off,
Well, I wasn't
and
going with that approach, Jason. I was going from the approach that it gives you options. So say you start off Pepe wide right, Haji left, and Balogun is the number 9, and you allow those players to migrate, and then at the 60-minute mark, you bring in a Weah or a Zendejas, and you're throwing these different curveballs at teams that have to adapt to that. It may work. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do. I'm just saying I think we're underestimating how he's picked and what he thinks he's going to do from a strategic and tactical standpoint.
So I could tell you just from experience what he is looking at is he is carrying 3 players in each position minimum. And so what you're saying is to play the three nines that are on our roster. What if 2 of them get injured?
You've still got other people that can play him.
Not to play
Weah
nines.
can go up top. Pulisic can go up top.
Not to play nines.
Well, you're not going to get all 3 of them hurt.
Well, I said only 2. So you're asking 1 9 to play all through the World Cup, all 90 minutes?
Pepe played on, or not Pepe, Messi played last World Cup almost every damn minute.
But he
You're
runs
talking
half
Messi.
of what those guys do.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not disagreeing that I'm talking Messi, but you're talking an older player that literally was able to go almost every match.
Correct. But those guys are certainly not Messi. And those guys are going to have to work every second they're on the pitch in order to create something or make something happen.
Yep. So, all right.
And
So
they are going to be exhausted.
All right. So we've got,
so just real quick before we do. So I want to correct myself as Portugal and Belgium. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
For the friendlies. However, I don't think we necessarily have an attacking problem. I think that we have really good players in the attack. I worry our midfield and our defense. Can we keep the ball out of the back of the net?
Yeah.
If we're going to ask our team to score 5 goals a game, it ain't going to happen. I've never seen them do it except for against Uruguay.
Right.
Which looked like a fluke to me after all.
Yeah, definitely.
It does now.
So it certainly does now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like if we lose Richards, we're looking at a severe issue. The attack, it's up to them. Like put the ball in the back of the net, and we have the players to do it. Plain and simple.
But what if you
it's been proven.
What if you bring in, you drop Richards and you bring in a George Campbell, or you bring in a Noah Kai Banks? Maybe you bring Tessman back on.
I don't think Noah Kai Banks. I don't know that he is.
He's not committed.
I think he's I think he's a decent player for sure. But I don't think you're going to get anything special out of him. I think you're asking a young kid to go be the star of your back line in a World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think we had this topic about mental midgets a couple podcasts ago. And he's how old is he? 18, 19?
19, yeah. I think just
he might be a little older.
Yeah. I think he's just
and I'm not
20.
saying that he's like that at all. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions. All I'm saying is that if you're going to say an 18-year-old is going to lead your back line or 19-year-old is going to lead your back line, well, then why can't a 38-year-old?
Exactly.
Well, and I think that you're talking about a guy that turned down a call up in March to be like, oh, hey, go lead our line now.
For sure. And that's why he was left off. I could say that 100%.
With a guy that might not really be all in on us anyways. So
100%. Yeah.
All right. So
we were trying to lock him in is what we were trying to do.
Yeah, I got
pretty
you.
much.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah.
So, all right. So we've got the three number 9s. Do you ever see them playing two of them up top at the same time?
I
Yeah.
do not, unless we are desperate for a goal, because what that would require is it would require a change of formation. And I'm not saying we'll change a formation, but if you're going to play with two forwards, then you're looking at like a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2. And I just don't think in that circumstance you're getting much more attack. I think you would go to a 4-3-3 if you're trying to get more attack, with maybe like 2 10s, kind of how I play with my current club team. And I think that's how you're going to get the attack. So maybe you put Pepe up top and then maybe drop Balogun deep, like behind him with Pulisic or Reyna, or push him out wide or something like that if Way is not playing well or Tillman's not playing well.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only way that you'll see those any 2 9s playing up top at the same time.
Okay. All right. That's
In my opinion, they just don't create enough as a 9. They need chances created for them. And so if you're adding another 9 in there, you're probably, in my opinion, creating less chances.
yeah. So Jeremy, you think same? You think we'll see two
I
of them?
I could see it. I could see it.
And unless we start off with like a 3-5-2 or 4-4-2. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to change. My point to that was I don't think we're going to change mid-game or late in the game to a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2.
I guess my question is, we talk about the importance of Pulisic and McKennie. I mean, one of those guys are going to have to come off if we're going to throw on 2 9s. I think that's the only way it works. I don't ever see us in a scenario that we're not going to be desperate for a goal is my issue. I feel like in almost every game, we can look back at the last World Cup. We were desperate for a goal every game.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say that, Jeremy, but you look at the match that we played against England, and we were the better team.
That's fine, but it was 0-0.
I understand, but I mean, we had chances that should have been put away.
We did. Absolutely.
And I think we've improved the quality of our goal scorers. That may make a difference now. So,
I mean, arguably,
yeah. But I mean,
we got to see it, right? Yeah. We got to see the evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was against CONCACAF. I would say, yeah, we're pretty decent goal scorers because we have time and we can create chances. I truly think when it gets to the World Cup, there's just something else that changes in teams' minds that it could be nerves, it could be just, I don't know what it is, that it is just a little different when you know you're going to win the group. And then you're fighting like in the first game. And the first game for the World Cup for us is always my worry.
It's everything.
And when you look at England and you look at France and Spain, I don't necessarily worry about them losing the first game.
Yeah.
With us, I'm always like, God, we could be screwed if we lose the first game to the worst team. Really.
Yeah. England plays Croatia opening match, don't they?
Yeah, the game. Now that they've expanded it, the games have gotten better. The first games, I can say that for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
All right, so we've got our 9s. Now let's go to that defensive midfield pool of Adams, Roldan, and I guess it would be Berhalter.
Well, so I did read something about that. He might even look at Tillman and Reyna as a 6 as well,
playing in there with them.
Yes. So I think what he's done is he has looked at his midfield, and this is what I was telling Jeremy offline the other day, is that he looks at Tillman and he looks at Reyna as guys that can play anywhere in the midfield, and they'll be pretty successful. They'll be okay. You look at Luna, and you're like, I don't know that I could put or trust Luna as a defensive midfielder.
No,
and get the same result as I would with Reyna. So Luna, disappointing, but I think he's more of a one-dimensional player, and that's not what Poch has always been known to be more defensive. So,
well, I love what's happening. I love what's happening right now in our discussion and I'm visualizing some of the players that we have. You look at, even though Pulisic's not, performed well over the last several months, but you look at Weston McKennie, but the guy's everywhere on the field. All of a sudden you see him on the far right. All of a sudden now he's on the far left.
For sure.
And I think that's what, again, I go back, I think Pochettino has seen that development over the last 2 years. And he's saying, you know what? We can truly play total football. You can take Freeman and roll Freeman past Dest on the right side, and you don't lose anything. You actually gain a bigger, stronger player that can actually cross the ball, right? And then when Dest goes by Freeman, you've got somebody who's now capable of dribbling somebody one-on-one and creating havoc. And I think the left side's the same way, but back into that middle, I think he's wanting those guys to hold that middle, unlike what I saw with Aiden Morris in the Portugal game, in the Belgium game, when the kid didn't play a bad game, but he was standing on the 6-yard box when they scored 3 goals from the top of the 18. That's where he should have been.
I think if we look at that,
he was not going to make this team, and I said it from day one. He's not good enough.
I think if we look at that Netherlands game in the last World Cup, and I believe this is more of what Jeremy is getting at with, he's not worried necessarily about our front runners or attackers. He's more worried about, I wouldn't even throw the 10 into that. I would say he's more worried about the 6s and the defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think our goalkeeper in that World Cup was, well, at least that game was absolutely atrocious. But the goals that we saw that we gave up on the Netherlands were kind of funny, actually, because it was almost like
it was the easiest goals of their life.
Well, our midfield couldn't get back in time. It was almost like they couldn't recover and they wouldn't defend in the penalty box. And so they were kind of leaving our backs out to dry, to be honest with you.
Well, they were.
And they just would pick us apart.
It was actually a joke. I watched, I can remember one of them where Tyler Adams was chasing back. He was 6 or 7 yards behind Dempsey, or, it was unbelievable.
But our problem is that, and this was my worry.
Dumfries.
Not Dempsey, that's long cover.
No, what's the kid's name for the Netherlands? The kid that scored, I think.
Dumfries,
yeah.
But my problem, and this was always going to be, and obviously we've matured. Some of the players have matured. Tyler Adams is playing for a decent team. He's matured a little bit, but we are potentially bringing players from that game onto this World Cup roster. So the same exact issues that we had against the Netherlands, we are bringing the exact same players that got smoked in that World Cup game.
But now with more experience and understanding and watching those tapes,
but they
should be able to correct that. Do they? I don't know.
But the Netherlands is as well. Brazil is as well.
Yeah.
England is as well.
Yeah.
So we're not out of the ordinary, that we've gotten more mature than other teams. We are going to be the exact same as what we were in the previous World Cup.
I don't think so.
With the exception of a couple other players.
I don't think so.
I arguably think that France. I honestly,
Jason, I honestly believe the U.S. could flop. Don't get me wrong. They could flop. They just may not come out with the heart that they need.
My argument to you is, Dad, is how are you expecting to get a different result with the same team that you have?
You don't. You've got different players. I think we've got a different combination of players.
One starter, I think. Maybe 2.
Well, you don't know who's going to start.
Oh, we do too.
That's what you think. Okay, so wait a minute. Let's go. Let's keep going now. We got a good. It's
gonna be different.
Yeah, we still got Turner. Maybe
doesn't matter. We'll get back to the keepers.
Number 1.
Well, let's hit the keepers real quick because I think we can do that in a matter of seconds. Turner's got a World Cup experience. Freeze has been given him a majority of the time. I think Brady's the backup in case they both get hurt. But if you look at all three of the goalkeepers, basically the same. They can use their they can use their feet relatively well. They're good shot stoppers. I'm saying reasonably well, Jeremy. They're
No, all right.
yeah,
No, I get it.
They're not the best with their feet. They're not the best with their distribution.
As long as they keep it away from our goal, that's fine.
Exactly. Turner does
Just
not need to be playing balls in the middle of the park to our
You are
offensive
incapable of playing out of
midfielders.
the back. Stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think goalkeepers, we can pretty much just say, are they our best that we've ever seen? They're not Tim Howard.
No. Casey Keller, Brad Friedel, none of those guys.
Right. But they're solid. They're solid goalkeepers.
They're big bodies.
Yeah. Big guys.
They take up
they're
a
going to
little
make
bit
saves.
more of the goal than the smaller goalkeepers.
Freeze. I'm not going to talk much about Brady. I mean, I've watched him during MLS, and he does
I would
do
tell
some
you,
good
Brady
things.
and Freeze, they're not terrible though.
No, they're good goalkeepers. And if there's a PK, they all three can save them. They've done it before. So they're all three good shot stoppers when it comes to a penalty kick.
And I'll be honest, Turner is not terrible. He is just, I think he lacks a little bit of the athleticism that we need for our team.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like a giant. He's not super great technically. And what we're asking
He's a
our
bit
goalkeepers,
passive, quite frankly. I mean,
he is,
seems...
but I think what we're asking our goalkeepers to do is to be a savior every once in a while.
Right.
Because that is just naturally what our team is. We need a savior, whether it's as a forward, a midfielder, as a back, or a goalkeeper. We need a savior.
Yeah.
And I don't think Turner is a savior if we need him to be a savior.
But he's done it before. Everybody's doubted him, and he's done it before. I mean, he saved penalty
but
kicks.
I think everybody's going to compare him to like.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to compare him to the Tim Howard game against Belgium.
But yeah, you can't do it.
It's not happening.
No,
I'm sorry. Like he gets peppered.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he gives away some pretty soft goals that Tim Howard simply doesn't.
And all we have to do is hope, cross our fingers, and hope that we don't give up the easy goal. If we can do that, we're going to be in every game.
We have to limit our chances. Yeah. And we can't give up a goal easily if the chances are limited. So we'll say they get 10 chances a game, the opposing team, and their percentage of scoring goals is, we're going to say 30%. That's not good for us.
No, that would be bad. Yeah.
And so for me, I think you just put the goalkeeper in there that you think is going to make a big save, or is going to make at least a little more than half a saves.
Yeah, I don't
disagree. He's required upon.
Like I said, and I think all three of them can do it. But I mean, I'm relying on Freeze and Turner. Brady, I think, is as solid as they are. It'll just be a pretty shocking experience. If both Freeze and Turner got hurt and Brady came in, I can guarantee you he would have some nerves. Right? Yeah, being in his first World Cup. So, all right, so let's go to our backs. Nerves. Yeah, let's go to our backs. So now we're talking about the back line. And you look at the combinations on the left and the right. You've got Arston and Jedi, Freeman and Dest. You've now got Scully, who can pretty much play multiple positions. And you've got our big guys, McKenzie, Miles, possibly Richards, and Trusty. And then Ream that can bring, at certain times, bring some calm to the back. But again, he's
Wyatt can play back there too if necessary.
And Wyatt can play back there as well. Right. So I think we've got a solid core in the back.
I don't know if I necessarily worry about the personnel we have. If we look back at the last World Cup, we always tend to make bonehead decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Walker Zimmerman fouls
we try to do things
Bale with his back to the goal
with no
going
chance
nowhere,
to turn. Right,
and fouls him in the box.
Yeah,
like I just feel it's not an experience. It's just boneheaded things that we just lose our mind on.
It's
Yeah.
almost like clumsy.
Yeah.
Very, very
Clumsy. There, yeah,
clumsy.
yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very
And,
clumsy.
Miles
and if
Robinson
you look at a
punching the
lot of our
ball,
games,
punching the ball in the penalty box, right? That's
Yeah.
right.
stupid. Yeah.
But if you look at like a lot of our games, just friendlies or whatever, how many times do we run up the back of somebody and foul them? And that was the same scenario. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no composure to us sometimes. We want to do this run and gun and just
Meathead
go 100
stuff.
miles per hour. 100 miles per hour.
Our backs are like
we
meatheads.
need to be composed. Yes. And that's
Yeah.
where I'm saying that Richards is probably
And
our
hear
best
me
hope.
now, U.S. men's national team defensive players, stay on your feet in the penalty box. Do not go
Yes.
down. If you go down, you're likely going to cause a penalty kick or you're going to miss the ball.
Right.
Stay on your feet. And if you don't do it, I'll be booing you from the moment that you do it.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, I think that is my biggest fear with the team is that we are in a game, a big game, and we just do something so silly, and everybody's like, "This isn't real life,"
Right.
you know.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And then we have to come back from 2 goals down or something like that, and then it's just a wash. And
Right.
it's just
And
done.
I'm going to modify my original statement of U.S. men's national team defenders, stay on your feet in the penalty box. And oh, by the way, don't turn your back when they're shooting the ball at you. This is a World Cup. Take it in the face, take it in the chest, take it in the thigh, your hands behind your backs. Play the game. Don't turn away.
Yeah.
So that's
But we're
my-
dealing
that's
with
my
a,
point.
you know, I think you have to look at it as you're dealing with some younger kids as well. I mean, I know that we do have a roster of like middle to upper 20s, so they're a little bit more mature, but they're still
Young guys.
they're
yeah.
still young,
Young
and they're
guys,
still going to
yeah.
make mistakes, and I completely understand that. But at this point, with the roster that we have, they've played enough big games, and if they're making the silly mistakes, then we don't deserve to win.
Exactly.
We
That's
don't
right.
deserve
Yeah.
to go any farther.
Yep.
We deserve everything that's going to happen to us, because I don't care whether it's the World Cup or Copa America or an MLS game or a championship game or a youth club game. You know better than what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And if you're not maturing and you're not gaining experience from playing at a high level, and you don't know the things that turn into ugly really, really bad, then maybe this is not the sport for you. You know, maybe you go play on your club teams, and you should just say, national team's not for me.
Yeah. Yep. So Jeremy,
You know,
let's go back to you real quickly. Because we talked about keeping this to 35 to 40 minutes, and we're at 33 right now. This particular episode. What type of formation do you see Pochettino using in this instance with this group of guys?
Well, I think that he's going to deploy a 3-5-2. I think that's probably the plan. I would like to see a 4-3-3 personally. I think that we are going to be a little. No,
Well, no, keep going, Jeremy, because I'm going to jump
no.
to Jason real quick.
All right. Well, he was shaking his head like I'm completely wrong here. But I think that we are going to be defensively liable to give up a lot of chances because we don't have the discipline like I've talked about previously. Like, I think that with our mistakes and if we're going to go a little more offensive with a 3-5-2, you probably have to consider Ream being in the back, and we're going to be susceptible to counterattacks severely. I look at the Netherlands game, for instance. We got exposed because they have creativity. They went at us fast, and they simply countered us. That's where 2 of their 3 goals came from, if not all 3. I can't exactly remember. So now you're talking about shifting a formation that's a little more attack. Maybe in the group stages it might work, but when you're playing teams like Netherlands, Brazil, and those teams that are just as much of attack,
Yeah, you can.
They're going to punish us very
Yeah,
quickly.
you
So
need to be
I would like to see a 4-3-3.
extremely disciplined. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, over to
Yep.
you. What do you think?
So I think he's going to play a 4-2-3-1. And the reason I say a 4-2-3-1 is because it gives you a little bit more shape in the midfield. It gives you a little bit of support to those backs, especially if Ream's going to play. He's going to want two defensive midfielders in front of him.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask those two. Are they going to be both
And
defensive?
yes, so
So
there'll
we're going to
be
attack with 4 guys.
there'll be 4 guys. And the reason I say that is because Pochettino is known to be a little more defensive. And so basically what he's going to do is he's going to deploy the outside backs. That's the reason we have those outside backs, because they're fast. And he's not going to want them to go fully forward because he knows that we won't be able to get back. And we're not the greatest at keeping possession in the offensive third, in my opinion. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to tempt these outside backs to get forward. And if they can, go for it. If they can't, they'll be kind of stopped by those 3 wingers, or the 3 behind the forward, the 1 forward. So like Pulisic and probably Way on the outsides, and then McKennie will be in the and the middle. And I think he'll give those guys more freedom to just run up and down the field, and they'll give them a little bit more freedom to do whatever they want. They won't have to come back as much, and so they can kind of focus just on scoring goals, getting services, and all that kind of stuff. Because when you, in my opinion, when you play with wingers that are trying to get up and down the pitch, like Robinson and Dest, when you don't have a team that keeps it as well as some of the other teams, you're going to be chasing a lot. And so, in my opinion, Dest and Robinson are probably our 2 best wing backs that can get forward and back. So if they get exhausted, and we're relying on them to do that for 3 games straight, and now you can put Arston and Freeman in the back, and they'll try to get forward, but they're not as good as those 2 are.
I disagree with you there.
They're not. They never played in a World Cup before. They have no idea what's ahead of them.
Exactly. I
think
think their inexperience is going to be visible, but I really believe that Arston and Freeman,
I don't think they're bad at all.
No, I think they're going to have.
I don't think they're bad at all.
I think they're going to have breakout tournaments.
They're going to play probably 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. They're not going to play any more than that. I wouldn't imagine.
I think Freeman's a starter.
But my point is so when those wing backs kind of are like at that halfway point where they can get services off, or they're more in the attacking third, and then they're kind of, I don't know, we'll say, I'll see if I can overlap Pulisic or Weah, or maybe I hit a service just, like in the midfield third or something like that, more towards the attacking third. They, at least if we don't get a good quality service in, or we don't get something on the end of it, they still can recover.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is what he's going to look at, is how quickly can we recover if we give the ball away. And if Dest and Robinson are just flying forward with nobody in front of them, and they can go all the way to end line, we're never going to be able to recover. And so at that point, we're relying on basically 2 backs, or you could go 3 backs if the right winger doesn't get forward. But from my standpoint, if one's going, the other one's probably going as well. And we're so susceptible to counterattacks, and that's what Netherlands did, and it just killed us.
So just a real quick counterpoint. So could you not play with 3 backs and 2 defensive mids anyway? So you always have 5 sitting a little deeper to maybe counteract those counterattacks?
Yeah, you can, but if you're going to play with 3 forwards, then where are the wingers going to go? There's no place for them to go, because they're always going to be going wide, right? So you're always wanting your wingers to stay wide so they can get services off and they can go 1v1. So if you have 2 guys in front of them, those guys are now having to kind of either get wider if that's an option, or they're having to come into the middle of the field, right? And so what does that do now? if these wingers have to come to the middle of the field to allow these outside wingers to get forward. Now it's congesting everything for Balogun, and Balogun's just not going to be a player that dribbles 3 and 4 guys and scores.
No, I
It's not
agree
gonna
with
happen.
that. And the only reason that I say that it would probably be better if we did a 3-5-2 because we're horrible at a service, and anyways, we typically serve to one guy and we never get on the end of them anyways.
No,
so now adding
we
a
served to nowhere's land.
But
They
I
don't
think
even- they
so
don't
now
even try to-
adding
adding
a
a
they don't even try to
adding
pick
a
out a
second guy.
Yeah.
But
in the
that's
attack.
my point is that if we are not great at services anyway, and those are what's counting our counterattacks, then we have the wrong guys serving it.
No, I don't think the services are the problem. I think that we just don't get on the end of them. I mean, we're serving to 1 or 2 guys at most.
Right. So you can look at it 2 ways. So if you want these wingers to get in the attack and to serve the ball, then you're going to have to push like Pulisic, Balogun, and then probably Weah in the penalty box to have more players in the penalty box. You'll have probably McKinney, that is probably around the 18 or maybe in the penalty box. So you throw another guy in the penalty box. But the unfortunate part is, and this is why I'm not a big fan of this team playing with wingbacks, is because we are serving to midgets. They're not big guys. Balogun is not big. Pulisic is not big. McKinney is not big. Weah is the biggest of those guys. And if we're trying to find Weah's head every time, I'm not sure I've ever seen the guy score a header. So I don't know if that's gonna happen.
You're going to be looking for Pepe. Yeah.
But we play the same. My point is we play the same style no matter who's on the pitch.
Right.
So if we're serving to smaller guys, we're not going to win those battles.
Right. No.
If you have Pepe or Haji Wright in there, now you could serve the ball, and now you have a better chance. So if we want to play with wingbacks and we want to get as many services in the box as we possibly can, Pulisic can't start, McKinney can't start, and Balogun can't start because they will never get on the end of them.
Interesting.
McKinney wins headers.
Yeah, McKinney.
And he misses them.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Yeah, but
I don't think I've ever seen him score a header.
Yeah,
he has.
So,
for Juventus, that is.
I'll have to look up those highlights.
All right, I'm trying to be a little bit of a gatekeeper here. We're at 42 minutes into this one. Do we want to keep going?
Yeah.
You go for a little bit.
Keep it rolling.
Okay.
I missed my software here is going to die, so we just got to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna step out here, and I really believe that Pochettino in that first game against Paraguay is going to put on a group of guys that are offensively minded, high pressure, and we're going to have to go at Paraguay.
Why don't you do this, Dad?
Because they're not really a counter-attacking team. That's not what they traditionally do. And I think you've got to put massive pressure on them. So you need speed, guys with a lot of heart. And that's why I think that to open it up, you might even see Berhalter and Tyler Adams in the middle if they go with a 3-5-2.
Well, and I think that Paraguay is going to be a similar opponent that we play in CONCACAF. Maybe slightly better.
Right.
But they're going to be hard workers. Their attack is pretty good. I will say that.
Oh yeah, they can.
They're going to kick us. They're going to run.
But I think we're kind of used to that. And I think the unfortunate part is that we didn't have qualifying, so we didn't play those teams a lot this year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I hope that they can find a way to prepare without playing a lot of CONCACAF games this year.
Yeah, they're going to have
to. So, Dad, I want to
chippy.
ask you real quick. Name your starting 11.
Oh man.
Without taking too much time.
No, I'm going to go with Freeze and goal.
Okay.
I'm going to go.
You know what? I'm going to write this down actually.
Yeah. I'm going to go with.
And then
if
we
Richards is available, I'm going to go with Richards.
So Dad's lineup. Freeze and goal.
Richards in the middle.
Richards
alongside Trusty. On the left, Jedi. On the right, Freeman.
Okay.
In front of him, I'm
So
going to
what
say,
formation are you playing first?
I think I'm going to go with a 4-4-2.
Okay. And then when
I-
it actually happens, we'll come back and talk about this and see.
Yeah.
who's the closest.
I think Weah is going to start on the right with Freeman.
Weah?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the left, I'm going to go with Arfston in front of Jedi.
Okay.
You got Adams, Berhalter in the middle.
Okay.
And Pulisic and Balogun up top.
McKinney doesn't start.
Nope.
Berhalter starts over McKinney.
Pulisic and Balogun. Okay. Jeremy, quick.
Is this what I want, or is this what I think?
No, this is what you
No,
think.
what you think?
What you think?
I'm thinking 3-5-2.
Okay. Goalkeeper.
Freeze.
Okay.
3 center backs: Tim Ream, Chris Richards, and Austin Trusty.
Okay.
Left wing back will be Robinson.
Okay.
Right will be Dest.
Okay.
Adams, McKinney.
Adams and McKinney as sixes or just 6 and 8?
So McKinney will probably be an 8.
Okay.
So 3-5. So we got one more. It's going to be Tillman.
No, you.
Tillman.
Yeah.
With Balogun and Pulisic up top, with Pulisic being a little.
Say again. So we have Tillman in front of them.
I do.
Okay.
With Balogun and Pulisic being the 2, and Pulisic will play a little more withdrawn with a little bit more freedom.